Our blessing for our invocation, please.
Oh, let's bless this meeting. With all go list. Dear most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you this afternoon with asking for your guidance as we take the care of the business of our Cherokee people. Guide and lead us and just give us wisdom as we make decisions today. We thank you for the leadership of our tribe. We thank you for the veterans who's made it possible for us to have the freedom to take care of business today. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Well done.
Thank you. All right, Shelley, would you call roll for us, please?
Yes, sir. Jody Fishinghawk. Here. Denise Taylor.
Here.
Jack Baker. Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
On in.
Julia Coates. Janelle Fulbright. Dawn Garvin. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Tina Glory Jordan. Lee Keener. Dick Lay. Curtis Snell. David Thornton. Victoria Vesquez. David Walkingstick. Kara Cowan Watts. We do have a quorum.
Did you call my name?
Yes.
Did I say him?
Did you count her here?
Well, we have 9 without her, we have 10 with her.
Okay, we're good. Okay, you have your January 29th minutes. I would entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the January 29 minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, we'll move into reports. Up first is Cherokee Nation Business, Sean Slayton.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Naturally, I'm very happy to report both December and January were fantastic months for all of our companies. We finished about $4 million ahead in December of our budget, and that trend continued into January, where I'd be happy to report I think we set record month all time for revenue, net income, and EBITDA. So things are looking good financially for all the companies. CNI's doing better. The technology and diversified business companies are very strong, and we hope that trend continues through February and March, which usually are very strong months for us, and then it kind of flattens out over the summer and picks back up in the fall. So financially, companies are doing great. I'm happy to report. Be looking forward to continued great things from South Coffeyville. The first week was great up there. Appreciate the efforts of all of our staff, plus the effort of the new employees to be there and get that thing opened on a day that had a lot of snow on the ground. Normally we have a lot of call-outs on those days, but I'm happy to report that 100% of the people scheduled for duty reported for duty that day. We finished well in excess of 100 new Cherokee employees up there. I'm very proud of that, and the first week's results were good and the feedback was good. We continue to work on the clinics, remaining 3 clinics, getting closer on that. Looking for a little cooperation from the weather in March will help us button that up. And we're back to the drawing board on the specialty clinic or hospital that was announced with IHS. And that concludes my report. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Slayton? Yes,
I
Councilor
just have a
Vasquez?
statement. I just wanted to say that my South Coffeyville community, that showed you how excited they are about having those jobs that they
Yes.
showed up. That particular day was horrible, and I chose not to go over there because I wasn't feeling well, and when I heard about that, I was like, yay,
Yeah.
thank you, South Coffeyville. So
That-
I'm thrilled.
It was beyond expectation what
That's
they
amazing.
did over there.
Very happy. Thank you.
Counselor Keener?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sean, last month and the month before that, I think the month before that, we had talked about the comp system at the Rogers.
Yes. We talked to OHRC on that, and we are developing a policy where stall owners or stall renters, if you will, over there that would like to have a surveillance system in the barn can get with our people, and we'll get with OHRC and make it compatible with both parties for that to work. There's pros and cons to doing that, and but we're working through that, and that process may be complete now. I checked on it right after you asked me to, and they were in the works, but I didn't follow up today to see where it was.
Will include the intercom system or because when they're in a barn, they can't hear. what's
Oh,
happening.
intercom, I'm sorry, Lee. I thought some of them were wanting to put their own surveillance system in there so they could watch out on their horses, and I'll check on the intercom. I dropped the ball on that. I thought it was the surveillance.
Well, and that may serve the same purpose too.
But I'll make another note and write down the right thing this time. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
Madam Chair.
Counselor Buzzard?
Sean, just check on this for me, or check for your own satisfaction, but a little bird told me that some of the Cherokee Nation programs weren't paying their bills and are shopping their hard drive.
We're working through that and with those.
Okay,
You
so-
asked me that the last time too.
Okay.
I didn't want to
I
name
didn't know.
names, but
Okay,
there
I'll
are
mark
some.
that off.
But it's not always their fault. Sometimes
Okay.
it's our fault not getting the bill to them and everything. But
I'm
I'll,
sorry, I didn't remember asking.
I'll follow back up on
All
that.
right, thanks. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anything else for Mr. Slayton? All right, you're off the hook.
I did leave out one thing, and I don't know why. It's been top of mind for the last month and a half. I want to give a shout out to all of our people that had something to do with the TV program, OCO, Voice of the Cherokee People. I thought they pulled that off in a short amount of time, and it was a great project and great feature. And from here, it's something that we hope we can continue to build on. That I want to give a shout out to them for getting that done in such a timely and professional manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is our treasurer, Lacey Horn.
Madam Chair, good afternoon, Tribal Council. Well, our audit is underway, and we are continuing with both our financial statement audit and our single audit. So other than that, I don't have much to report. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them at this time.
Anybody have anything for the treasurer?
I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
We had set aside a certain amount of money for community centers, and always before we've tried to give them $2,000. And with the number of community centers that we have this year, it's gonna put that donation about 14,000 short, about 14,000 short. I would ask if there's any way we can find that so that we can go ahead and possibly put it in the budget mod even tonight so that we can get those checks issued, because our community centers are in dire need of money.
So if you're talking about doing it tonight, then we're gonna have to find a corresponding program to
Well,
reduce it from.
I haven't talked to the executive branch, but there was some money left over in donations that if we could shake that loose, then if there was something in particular that money was set aside for, we could look next month or the month after, or when carryover comes in, of trying to replenish that.
Okay.
But I know we've had community centers all over.
Nutrition center.
And, I think it is the community and nutrition centers. They're all calling, they depend on that
Food
money
pantries.
for, yeah, I think whatever was, there was a list circulated. They're depending on that money for their utility bills, and of course with the cold weather that we've had, the bills have went up. If we could get that money out to them, it would be greatly appreciated. And And we wanted to keep it at the same level. I think everyone's in agreement. It needs to stay at the same level that it was the last year, but we've had a few more come online, which is kind of messed our money situation up.
Okay.
We just, we didn't plan for the few that came online, and so we set it, I think, at the amount it was, maybe not even last year, it might have been even a prior year. But we did have some money left in the donation
Okay.
kitty.
Okay.
If we could, can you check
So,
into that
yes.
and see what we could do tonight?
I can certainly take a look at the donations account, and if,
That would mean.
if that is true, then we'll certainly use that account, but if not, available there, would you leave that up to my discretion to maybe come up with
What we
some
have
other
to
budget
do.
that we could reduce
Yeah.
in this short-term manner to?
But I don't want their
funded.
utilities getting cut off or something else happening, not having enough food at a nutrition site. I don't want any of that happening, and we're getting to a crisis state.
Okay, I understand. It's my understanding too that there might be, moving of the mod 6 to the council tonight. Do we think that that might happen with, so should it go in this mod 6 or should it go in the mod 5 that is?
Are we taking mod 6 tonight?
council.
We're gonna take this one to council tonight?
I think you're gonna do both 5 and 6 tonight. So do you care which one we
No.
use? Okay,
Just so that we get that issue taken care of, because some of them are getting pretty close.
okay. I will handle that.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you, Lacey.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Okay, I'm gonna call Diane Kelly back up here because she's promised us some really good stuff this afternoon.
But you did bring the chicken.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've had Hunter Palmer just running all kinds of stuff off. Jeff Vance said to make sure that you do this and repeat it again next month, but they have already started taking applications for the Summer Youth Employment Program. They started last week, and the deadline this year is April the 17th. What that means is, because you will get constituents that's gonna call you after April the 17th, and Councilman Walking Stick's gonna come in and say, can't you serve this little boy or this little girl? And we're gonna say, we've already, our deadline's already passed. The reason we put that deadline in there is so that it gives the counselors plenty of time to meet with the job sites and go over all of our rules and regulations from a safety standpoint. And we do that because of some of the injuries that we've had with some of these 16 and 17-year-olds. And we have to get parents' permission for them to participate, anybody that's under 18 years of age. So a lot of times the parents will come in and they have to sign our forms so that they fully understand where they're being placed. We try not to put them in an area where it would be hazardous or unsafe, and so we have to make sure that we put them in an area where they're going to be getting a lot of supervision because of their ages. So the age limit is they have to be 16 years of age when they make the application. And I'm explaining that because we get parents that will say, well, my kid will be 16 in July. Well, they have to be 16 when they make the application. They can be 21 during the time they're on the program. If they don't turn 22 during the time they're on the program, they'll qualify. So they can be 21 years of age when they make the application and participate on the program. So it's 16 to 21 years of age. And Jeff said to tell you that we have 450 tribal slots and we have 150 federal. And I see Councilwoman Vasquez writing this down. We are going to allocate all of the slots throughout the 14 counties. They will not be all in one area. And what we do is when that deadline hits on the 17th, if they have not actually filled up the job sites or those slots in all these counties, then we move those slots to those other areas where we need the help. Now, I will tell you that last year was the first year in many, many years that we had an overabundance of applications in your area. And I commend Lori Lambert for all the work that she did while Gwen was out. But Gwen had laid the foundation and she carried that for the summer while Gwen was out. So they did an outstanding job up there. We are going to be doing field days at the Ochaleta Clinic once it gets up in full swing. Rhonda Cochran and the health department has allowed us space in that clinic, so we'll be doing our field days from that clinic so that we will have a presence up in Washington County. Councilman Lay. And Gwen Shotpouch and Lori will be the two that will be working in that area as well. We will have an internship program, and George Roach will be out in the schools. I think he's already started making appointments. He'll be going out there recruiting students for our summer intern program, and he's real excited about that. I think it was Councilwoman Hargis that asked me about Stillwell. I had contact several weeks ago that the Swans plant in Atlanta, Georgia had closed, and that they were going to put some millions of dollars in expanding the one in Stillwell. And I called Bill to kind of get an update, and Alan Poff, who is one of their executive vice presidents, was supposed to come down. He has made contact with us. I've got a couple of emails from him, and they are planning to come down. I'm not really sure. I think sometime in the late spring. Not really sure when, but they're going to come down and meet with us because they're looking at adding around 200 more employees to that plant. And right now it's kind of their downtime because it's usually from about January up through the first part of April. Then they'll start in full swing probably about summer and go all the way up through Christmas. So we expect them to contact us pretty soon, and we're kind of ready to go. We'll keep you posted. Macy's update. Larry Doherty sent me a Macy's update. We will start interviewing March the 9th. We'll hire 19 people a week beginning March the 23rd. They will continue this hiring process until the last week of July. The first jobs we'll hire will be inbound positions, receiving and inventory, advanced receiving, and prep and put away. We'll not start hiring part-time until the week of May, and we'll continue this. And I've got these handouts that I'll give to you so that you'll have this information about Macy's. I have another handout that Larry wanted me to share that his contact is Rhonda Haviland, Haviland. She is the Secretary of State for the Macy's Company, and she's the one he's been corresponding with. So if you've got people that were laid off from the Amazon company or any of these other businesses that you know of that would make good candidates for some of these jobs, if you get them to send us a resume, Larry Doherty is the contact person. Johnny Arp from Grand Federal Savings and Jay told us that 3 weeks ago there was a letter of intent in place for the Simmons plant in Jay. Councilman Buzzard and Councilman Snell, but he's not here. The plant is operating 2 to 3 days a week currently. The prospective buyer emailed them yesterday and said that the process was still proceeding well and that they were hopeful something could be announced in a couple of weeks, hoping that everyone stays positive and that sales take place. So we are staying in contact with them so that when they start gearing up for the Simmons plant, we will be up there to assist them with that as well. This is the Tulsa Fulfillment Center. These are pictures. Chief Baker was on the tour, and these are some who can help me with this. These are the only pictures I have, so if I could get these back, I'd appreciate it. Chief Baker and I met with the Sofidel people. They have a plant in Tulsa. They are the largest European paper manufacturing company in the United States. They are the 4th largest in the United States. They are going to be expanding their operation into Inola, Oklahoma, which is actually in the Creek Nation. The road that goes up to the industrial park is in the Cherokee Nation. They have met with us and asked if we could assist them with any kind of economic development. We assured them that we would help with any recruitment. They were scheduled to meet with Chief Tiger the evening after they met with Chief Baker, and then they were going to Oklahoma City to meet with the governor. She has money in her budget to help with economic development. So after they got all their bearings on with them, then they were going to come back and give us a proposal. This is a picture of them when they brought down one of their paper articles, which is some toilet tissue that they brought to show us at the meeting. And this is the group from their company out of Florida. That's where their corporate office is. So I'll pass this around so you can see it. The reason I'm showing you this is because, you know, one of our initiatives is Connie's is health and Gary's is housing. and when you talk about hope, well, they've got to have jobs, and that's what we're doing. And I'm just wanting to assure you all that we are throughout the 14 counties. We're not just in one county, but we are working with an array of businesses, and those businesses don't happen overnight. Sometimes it's dialogue with them for half a year to a year to 2 years. And this is the OSU group that was here that Bruce and I are working with. And we've got the Cherokee Nation Culinary Arts at the Salisaw Middle School. These are the flyers that we have that will tell you about our class operations. And the next flyer, and we can send these to you by email, but the next flyer is our job fairs that we're doing. Vivian said she'd do it with short notice, but she said she knew that we could pull rabbits out of our hat, and so the first job fair on a Saturday, and it's in the old bank building, J.T. Stites Community Building across from the health clinic, and then our last stop will be in Roland, where the casino operations are, and we'll be there till 6 o'clock that evening on the 17th. So we have 3 job fairs slated for that area, and we're getting flyers out in all of the towns in Sequoyah County, as well as Muskogee, and in Adair County, and here in Cherokee County. So this is information on the job fair. The next flyer is, I told you that Career Services does an array of things, from jobs to training. Well, we also have the firefighter program. We were approached by the National Forest Service as well as the BIA Forest Service to do a fire prevention workshop out in one of the areas where we have a lot of tribal members as well as tribal lands. They asked to have us sponsor a meeting out in Bell. And I contacted the superintendent out there and asked if we could use their cafeteria, if their cooks would fix some beans and fried taters and cornbread for us. And I called Jody and Frankie and said, can y'all come out that night? So at 5:30 on March the 10th, we're having a community meeting for our fire prevention program. There's been an array of self-started fires out in that community. And John assured me that we're going to have Smokey the Bear out there. We're going to have a few door prizes, and we're going to have a coloring contest for the kids out at the school. So we're doing that out in Adair County, where we've got tribal lands, and we plan to go up north to Delaware County in the fall. So that's all we've been working on.
That's too much.
Well, I told you what we were working on in training earlier in the education report. We've got lots of stuff going on.
Well, nobody's paying attention. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Where does Larry Doherty office?
He offices out of our Tulsa office.
Okay.
This is the most stuff. And I will say that, earlier I told you that we work real closely with C&E. We have meetings with Bob and Vivian on areas where they have a high turnover, and we try to work with them on a monthly basis to try to, if there's a specific area, if they need us to do a job fair, we do that. We also are working with the purchasing group. John and Anna and Becky and I are meeting with the purchasing group on our tarot to make sure that we're still all on course there. Chuck Garrett sends me emails on businesses that he wants us to meet with. So there's a lot going on out in the 14 counties. And as I told somebody the other day, anybody that's a tribal member that wants to get training can get that today. Anybody that wants to get an education can get that education today. And I think all of us working together can ensure that our tribal members get the education they need for these jobs.
Diane, you got a lot going on.
Yeah, I do. I work night and day, by the way.
It's good to have John around too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It sure is. He's an asset.
Diane, Miss Macy said they didn't have Larry's contact information. Can you email that to us?
Yes, I can. I'll email that to you.
Thank you.
Sure will. Oh, the pictures. Okay.
Okay,
Anything else?
Don't run off. Counselor Lay has a question or a comment.
Say all handouts are good. Yours are worth keeping.
Thank you.
Speaker, did you have something to say?
Yes, I want to make sure I understood, if we have some folks that are interested in this Macy's, the Macy jobs, they contact Larry, and you're gonna give us the contact information. And then there's a possibility they could get an interview starting about the 9th of March.
Yes, yes.
And I guess they will just continue the interviewing process as long as needed to fill the positions?
Yes, that's why he says in the email that they're gonna hire so many per week, all the way up through June or July, whatever the date is on there. Now, they have hired some of the management positions, and they're still doing interviews for some of those right now. And those were posted early on, and our staff were assisting people with that, because they had signs up out at the work site where the construction site was. And as they posted things, well, people knew about it, and then they also had stuff out on their Macy's website. So people were coming into the office, and they were assisting them there. The 3 offices that are really geared up to help them with those applications are our Pryor office at the Mid-America Industrial Park, and the Claremore office, which is at Verdigris, which is the housing complex, because we're in that garage area of it, and then also our office there in Tulsa. Now, we've got more computers in the Tulsa office because we geared that office up specifically for Macy's. So we have probably 15 computers. So if there was 15 people that came in at any given time, they could get on the system to get their applications in, and the staff can assist them.
Where's the office in Tulsa?
It's right across the street from the corporate office there at the Interchange Building on Marshall Street. We're there because C&E assisted us with getting in that facility, as well as the one there at the Mid-America Industrial Park.
Anything else for Diane? All right, carry on.
Thank you.
All right, Anna, you ready?
I am ready.
Go then.
I left all my pictures back at the office, so sorry about that. You do have a copy of our report, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I would like to point out one thing that's not on the report is the Northeast Oklahoma Regional Alliance is having an education summit in Pryor on March 11th from 11 to 1 at Mid-America Industrial Park. It's a cost of $12 to cover the lunch, but it's going to talk about the Superintendents Association is going to have a speaker there to talk about their plan to try to help fund and continue education improvements in Oklahoma. I would also point out that we're working on various ways to try to work with smaller communities in regards to economic development. And one thing that we're actively doing right now is working with Grand Gateway, and we're going to hold 4 community meetings up in the northern area and invite, at this point, it's the PSO communities that are involved to this, and we're going to talk about 18 different ways to do economic development in your community, which includes Main Street, retail, a variety of different mechanisms, tourism, and so we're going to be holding those. If people are interested, once they attend those, then they would work with Grand Gateway and with us on a one-on-one basis to try to help them develop their own economic development strategy for their small community. And then we intend to be able to use this as a model to take down in the southern area of the Cherokee Nation and work down in that region as well. And then Ed Crone with Grand Gateway is probably going to try to take it as a statewide, but we're trying to figure out how to get into the smaller communities and help them better develop their communities and their economies through different strategies. That'll also be the primary approach for the NORA Regional Summit in November this year, bringing in speakers that talk about small rural community economic development. So other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Does anybody have anything for Anna? All right. Thank you, Anna. Okay, you have a copy of the tarot certifications for this month. is this list accurate in here?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. So everybody has looked at those.
Make motion to approve.
Madam Chair,
Oh,
We'll go ahead and make the motion, so we can go in discussion.
We did.
okay, so let's move on this motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I had a question for John. John, I know we monitor job sites and stuff.
Yes.
Can you tell me about how much a month, not to be exact, that you collect from non-Indians or Cherokees working on those sites? On all payrolls,
On all projects,
on all projects, yes.
I can have someone pull that up if we can send that out.
That'd be interesting to know. I go to that job site in Jay about every day. I see a lot of Cherokee there.
Well, it depends what part of the project they're on as well, but I can actually, yeah, let me get that and I'll email it to you guys.
And
I'll
we're
send it
still
to-
charging $25 a day or $50?
It's $25 per day.
It'd be interesting to see what we're.
Okay.
Thanks, Madam Chair.
Councilor Fishing Hawk, did you have something? Okay. So I never did ask if there's any opposition to the tarot certifications. Are we all good with that? Okay. I had one, and we voted on it. Yeah, and we usually voted. Okay, let's move on to the cemetery restorations.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the cemetery restorations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Let's move on to community assistance.
There's a new list handed out and also has some additions to it. The additions are Rogers County Cherokee Association for $500 for Council Lady Taylor, Cherokee Elders Council for $1,000 for Councilor Taylor, and Bartlesville Indians Women's Club for $1,000 for Councilman Lay.
And I might recommend you take a look at this. If you have sent anything this week, I understand Gail's been sick, and so if you send anything via fax, you might want to be sure Jody's got it. Yes, Councilor Fishing Hawk?
I need one changed on the one that was handed out, Jody, and that was for the archery for $1,110 or something.
Okay,
I need it changed to 500.
500 even? Okay.
Go ahead.
We need to, if I could.
Yes, go ahead.
We need to add 1,000 for the Tri-Community Association for organizational support. And then we need to take that 1,000 and the 1,000 we have on here for swimmer and split it 3 ways. Would that be okay with everybody?
I need 600 for Dry Creek.
Which one?
600 for Dry Creek.
Was it 1,000 you said?
600.
1,000 you said?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So 1,000 for Dry Creek organizational support, 1,000 for
Tri-County.
Tri-Community.
Yeah.
And 1,000 for swimmer,
Okay.
organizational support. Actually,
Okay.
swimmers is a building fund.
Yeah.
But we put it down for organizational support.
You want to split
3 ways on all of
3
them?
ways on all 3 of them, or each do one, or is it
Oh, no, we all like to share.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll split it.
split 3 ways? Okay.
Is that the way y'all
That'll
would do
work,
it?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other changes?
We're a team. Even when we don't work the same.
Okay.
With those changes, could I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Thank you, Frankie.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the community assistance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Let's move on to law enforcement.
There is none for law enforcement. I just want to note that the law enforcement funding is in mod 6, there will be covering here shortly, so everyone will have new money to spend.
Start next month. It'll fall into our
Yes,
accounts next
it'll
month.
be in the report for next month. Have new money.
Okay, and then has everybody looked over their roads funding? Be sure that was accurate?
Just have the one project for buying city streets for Councilman Thornton.
We'll support it. He's not here for the deal.
Okay, if I could have a motion to approve this. Thank you, Councilor Garvin. Second. Got a motion and a second on the roads. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Okay, that carries. Let's move on to the sports teams.
Motion to approve.
A motion, do I have a second to? Okay, I have a motion and a second on the sports teams. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Okay, that takes us to livestock.
I don't think there was any new ones. No.
Looked like it since December.
There'll be at least 5 come in here by the end of the month.
Okay.
Well, end of March.
March,
By the
okay.
end of March.
Seeing that, could I have a motion to approve these?
Motion and a second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the livestock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, move on to new business. Jody Fishing, how would you introduce the
Yeah,
change?
this is a Legislative Act 24-14, and it's authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2015, Mod 2, and declaring an emergency, and it also needs to go to full council tonight for its approval.
Second.
Okay, Jody Reese, would you take us through the particulars on this,
Okay,
please?
it's, there's one budget in this month for $747,879. It's for the motor vehicle tax, highway construction, 105-2000 motor vehicle tax funding. It's a modification requesting a $747,879 increase in expenditure authorization for carryover reconciliation and allocation of the 2014 motor vehicle tax net revenues. The new total budget is $4,105,061, consisting of $2,068,274 carryover and $2,036,787 current allocation of the fiscal year 2014 motor vehicle tax revenues. The allocation to roads is 20% of the gross motor vehicle tax collections. Of that allocation, 90% goes to this construction budget and 10% goes to roads administration that's presented in the operating budget modification. The $2,036,787 current year allocation is compared to $1,705,000 from last year and $1,585,000 for the previous year. Based on the current compact and legislation, each of the 15 in-jurisdiction council members will continue to receive an equal allocation calculated at $135,786 this year. $277,492 of the current year increase of $331,000 is attributed to sales in the expanded jurisdiction. An additional $21,836 is attributed to the at-large revenue.
Do we have any discussion on this? So I have a motion and a second on this budget mod. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And so that'll go to full council tonight. Okay, Jody, would you read the next one also?
This is Legislative Act 25-14. It authorizes the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2015. It's Mod 6, and it also needs to go to full council tonight. And I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second. You want to do this one for us also,
Yes,
Jody?
I just wanted to, Speaker Jordan, do you want to make an amendment to, we've discussed and we've got the funding for the 14,000.
You were gonna see where we could put that
Yes, we've-
14,000 and take it from?
Yes, we looked at the contributions and donations account, and there is 0 unallocated. And so I'll do you a solid on this one, and I'll give it up from cash match for grants. And so,
Very good.
so what we'll need is we'll need a motion to substitute to include 2 additional budgets, to include 10-10-315 cash match for grants for a reduction of 14,000, and increase to AU 10-10-042 for contributions and donations. It's a $0 impact because you're just moving from one to the other.
And I would put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second. Yes, we have a motion and a second on that amendment. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. What was that second accounting unit? Community assistance, or the community?
Contributions and donations is 10-10042.
Okay. Okay.
I'll get the paperwork ready. We'll have the substitute to present at full council tonight.
Thank you all
Speaker.
for working together and making this happen. I know the community groups certainly appreciate it. And the good thing is, our community groups are increasing. That's a very positive thing, because these community groups are the heart of their areas. So it's good that they're increasing, and it's good that we need more money to give to them, because they are increasing and drawing more people in to our activities. Thank you all. Welcome.
Okay, the operating budget mod number 6, the total is $2,361,743. Of that, $741,327 is from grants. And you'll note in that section A, the bottom of that is where I always talk about the cash match for grants. So that right now there was $834,000. That's where that 14,000 is going to be pulled out of. And in section B, there's 15 budgets listed here. There will now be 17 budgets. It'll be the same total dollar amount of $1,620,416. Item 1, economic development, 10-10-563 under the general fund. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $840,145. Carryover was reduced by $650,000 to $380,072, and a new award of $1,110,073 from C&B is added for a new budget expenditure total of $1,490,145 with the offsetting other income. Item 2, career pathways, 10-10-581 under general fund. It's a modification requesting a new budget of $977,184 along with the offsetting other income. The budget reflects the revenue in from the job-driven National Emergency Grant Program for the approval of the federal project officer. You will notice in item 15 that the budget is removed from the Department of Labor funding to this zero-based general fund budget. The Career Pathways program is in the initiative planning stages for this grant. This is the funding level of the Career Pathways expansion project. I have a kind of a red section there. It talks about a lot of these budgets are items 4, 5, and 6, or items 3 through 6 will, all these school budgets will be impacted based upon the passage of the motor vehicle tax legislation change that you passed through rules today. If that passes, all these budgets are set up based upon the passage of that legislation. So just kind of wanted to mention that. Item 3, motor vehicle tax, public schools, 105, 1,000 motor vehicle tax. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $409,614 for the 2014 allocation tax. The original budget of $3.5 million was an estimate, and the new total budget is $3,909,614. The total includes $4,861 carryover and $3,904,753 current allocation. The current allocation is an increase of $697,164 over last year's allocation, with a per student increase from $135.05 to $143.42. Approximately $530,000 of the increase is due to sales and the $40,000 due to large sales. Jurisdiction schools. Item 4, motor vehicle tax, Sequoia High School, 105-1000 motor vehicle. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $39,889 for the 2014 allocation of the motor vehicle tax. The original budget of $107,044 was an estimate, and the new budget is $146,933. The total includes $39,081 carryover and $107,852 current allocation. Current allocation is an increase of $5,483 over last year's allocation, with a 6-student decrease. Item 5, motor vehicle tax, Head Start, 105-1011 motor vehicle. It's a modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $40,790 for the 2014 allocation of motor vehicle tax. The original budget of $82,381 was an estimate, and the new total budget is $41,591 and includes no carryover. The current allocation is a decrease of $40,790 below last year's allocation, with a 322 student decrease from 610 to 290. And my understanding is that Sequoia High School is allowed to count students twice if certain criteria met. However, Head Start is not. Therefore, the student count has been adjusted down this year. And I know there's been some, I don't fully understand that, and somebody from the education department would probably have to explain how that calculation was made, but basically Head Start got to count half of what they've been able to count. Item 6, motor vehicle tax immersion, 105-1012 motor vehicle. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $3,314 for the 2014 allocation of motor vehicle tax. The original budget of $28,364 was an estimate, and the new total budget is $31,678. The total includes $987 carryover and $30,691 current allocation. The current allocation is an increase of $2,331 over last year's allocation, with a 4-student increase. Item 7, motor vehicle tax, public school co-op, 105-1020. It's under motor vehicle. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $269,726 for the 2014 allocation of motor vehicle tax. The original budget of $360,587 was an estimate, and the new budget is $630,313. The total includes $200,325 carryover and $429,988 current allocation. The current allocation is a $69,914 increase over last year's allocation. This budget assists schools with the A to F grading system. The allocation is 5% of the 38% public school allocation, plus an equal match from the remaining motor vehicle tax net revenue. Item 8, motor vehicle tax, highway administration, 105-2010 motor vehicle tax. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $231,479 for the 2014 allocation of motor vehicle tax with a new total budget of $486,343. The total includes $260,033 carryover and $226,310 current allocation. The roads program receives 20% allocation of gross motor vehicle tax revenue, and of this allocation, 90% goes to construction, which was in the capital mod that we did, and 10% to this administration budget. Item 9, motor vehicle tax, local law enforcement, 105-4100, under motor vehicle. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $85,739 from the 2014 allocation of motor vehicle tax with a new total budget of $415,739. This total includes $72,154 carryover and $343,585 current allocation. The current allocation is based on 20% of the net motor vehicle tax revenue and is a $53,316 increase over last year's allocation. And that's the that $343,000 will be the portion that's allocated 15 ways. Item 10, Public Law 102-477, Combined Interest, 323-2300. DOI Public Law 102-477, some modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $287,648 to balance for carryover interest with a new budget of $859,557. EHS Administration 333-1000 under I expenditure authorization $94,362 to balance out carryover. Item 12, EHS projects 333 tribal environmental health. Some modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $2,036,690 to balance carryover with a new budget total of $3,479,375. Item 13, replacement homes 3564021 Nahasda. New budget requesting expenditure authorization of $1 million from program income. This compares to the 2014 budget of $2,567,645. Item 14, housing rehabilitation, 1010-432 general fund. New budget requesting expenditure authorization of $1 million. Let me see. Hang on just a second here. I want to verify something. That's it's AU 3564044. Mistake. I recognized it when I read it. From program income, and okay, and then item 15, career pathways, 370-1910, U.S. Department of Labor. It's a modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $977,184 to zero the budget out, and it's replaced with the general fund budget in item number 1 above. Yes.
Go back on 13 and 14. Is this going to result in more replacement homes?
Yes. On item 13, there was no budget in this year. And this is putting $1 million in.
Okay, we're only reallocating
Okay.
Okay. How will this equate to the number of homes that we will get, replacement homes, for this year compared with last year? And just give us a comparison. I know you can.
It'll increase the number of replacement homes. Pretty much what it'll do is the ones that were started last year out of that 3564021. This carryover money will be able to finish those, and so then the replacement home budget we have for this year, that's 6021, will be all new homes.
And that's, so this one is, the one is replenishing and one is number 14, if you'll look there with Mr. Reese.
1.3.
How's 14 work? Tell me how that works.
Well, that's the rehab budget, not the replacement home budget. We have a separate replacement home budget now.
Okay, and how does this rehab amount compare with what we've had in the past?
Let's see, what did we have? We had one last year, 1.6
Yeah.
million last year.
But we're going to, are we doing additional money here, or is it going down to 1.3?
It's new this year. This year, we didn't have a program income budget, so it's in addition to the regular rehab budget. We have
So
program
we-
income budgets and then regular NAHASDA fund budgets.
Okay, so in simple terms, are we going to be able to do more?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
More on both?
On both, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
More replacement homes, more rehab.
that's what I wanted to know.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Councilor?
Number of replacement homes. When we say more, did we have 16 targeted for this year or what?
We have
Give me a number.
15 or 16 targeted this year.
This year's 16.
16.
We had 11 that carried over last year.
So we'll have 11 plus 16 additional.
Thank you.
I saw somebody over here. Was it Councilor Keener or Buzzer? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On number 8, let me understand on the highway.
Yes.
Motor vehicle tax, MVT, the roads program proceeded 20%
Yes.
for the gross MVT,
Yes.
and 90% of that goes to,
Construction,
uh,
road construction.
okay,
And
okay,
then 10% goes to this admin budget.
okay.
That 90% it was in that, the capital budget that's, in
That's-
capital mod.
That's what threw me off, was capital mod.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then number 1, the 1.190, wait, no, I'm sorry, 110.
Yes.
Where, that's, it says an award. It just, is that a gift or what?
That's where we get we do, I guess, the contract with CNB to do the economic development for them. So it's kind of a wash budget, but we got the revenue coming in and we spend it out, so. There was $840,000 that was originally budgeted, but, right, and that was carryovers, and it was reduced, and we got the new award of 1.1 million, so.
Okay.
For the total of 1.49.
Okay, okay.
You know, some was reduced and some was in big increase, and some was reduced for the net.
Okay, thank you.
Change.
Thank you, Madam.
Are you good with that? Deborah's here if you have any other further questions about that.
I can answer any questions that you have. It's just a memorandum of understanding with the CNB board. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Jody, go back to number 5. Now, tell me again, what are we doing there? Are we decreasing?
They're actually decreased because the student count last year was at 610, and this year it's 290.
Okay, so it is just actually student count, not decreasing
The dollar per student is actually still, is the same as everybody else's.
Double the 290.
But the student count is down
580.
because of some formulary
That doesn't make any sense.
problem.
You have 290.
Maybe you could,
If you double 290,
We had,
580.
in looking at Head Start's numbers in the past, we had been counting the public schools Head Start students in addition to Head Start students. So those students in the public schools are actually being counted twice, once by the school, once by Head Start. So to clarify that, they were only being counted by the public school this year.
So this is not a decrease actually to our Head Start?
it,
It is.
it is.
Well, tell me why we're doing it again.
Well, it was probably actually wrong in the past, and we're fixing it to where
Yeah,
it
we're correct. We've caught it this year. They submitted a full list of all of their kids this year. They had public school kids counted on there because of their public school partnerships. And then the public school had also been counting the same student. So in order to count that student once, we leave them at the public school and take them out of the Head Start count.
Okay, and y'all went over all your figures
Yes.
with Head Start?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Counselor Lake?
When we had, Nowata had Head Start, and I think it was Lowry here that closed Head Start. Or is that part of the number that went down?
No, actually Lowry would have counted the students and then Head Start would have counted the students. So the same student was being counted twice.
But we have no Head Start in Lowry.
Right.
We have none in Nowata. We dropped those programs. Did we not have the money?
I think they moved those to other Head Start sites. Picked other sites when they closed the Lowry and the Nowata sites.
Well, they had to move, but why did we close?
I don't have that answer. I can find out for you. Get back to you at Ed Committee.
If I didn't get that question, I'm sorry. What did you, if I could, what did, I didn't get?
Last year, we had Head Start at Lowry and Nowata, and we closed them. And I said, why? And she said, because they moved to the other schools. And I said, well, not until after we closed them. So I wanted to know why we closed them. Was it because of budget? If it was budgetary, we probably should have looked at it.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Byrd?
At Sequoia High School, we had a increase of 5,483. But yet we had a 6-student decrease.
it's because we went from $135 to $140.
That's based on the
Right.
reallocation.
We get more, we're getting more per each student. He still ended up with more even though he had fewer students.
Okay, and we're what are we, 270?
It was,
270, 290? What is it, Stu? You're supposed to know. It's 376. 376. That's it for 9 through 12? Okay.
and Sequoia Council gets to count twice.
Oh, wait a minute now. Say that again?
Yeah, Sequoia gets double, so they're actually getting 287 students.
Okay. I'm trying to,
There's a deal in the legislation about Sequoia High School getting to count students twice.
okay.
But your per student cost went from 135 to 143, which even though you lost a few students, you still got a few extra dollars.
Okay.
So we're really getting about 286 per student.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My students hope.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this budget bond? Not, let's vote on it. All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay, does anybody have any announcements? Next meeting looks like it's March 26th at 3 o'clock. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment?